Alright guys, welcome back to the workshop and the Drone Camps channel. I'm Justin Davis. Check out what we have here today. We have another selfie drone that just came into the workshop, and this is by our friends over at XIRO. This is the XIRO Xplorer Mini. I've been waiting for this for about a month to come in. I've been checking out their website and all the features and just how cool this looks right out of the box. It does have folding arms on here, as I said, and they have little push button clips on the very bottom, and those will come out and lock into place. Be sure to push those little buttons if you get yours out of the box and you're trying to open this up. Make sure you push that button, you'll break the arm. And it'll lock in place once it gets fully out to the furthest position. Now, this is a lot different than what we've seen before. It's a little bigger than the XIRO Tech Dobby. Probably close to the same size as the Breeze 4K, but this one does not have 4K video. It is 1080p and 13 megapixels still, and that's going to be great for that on-the-fly video. I wouldn't worry about 4K, mainly because it's hard to edit, hard to upload on your computer to the internet, and 1080p is a lot easier to deal with file size wise. And we don't have a stabilized gimbal on here. It's electronic stabilization, so most of these video cameras nowadays that are 1080p, they don't have any 4K electronic stabilized drone cameras just yet. So we're still in the early days of that, but electronic stabilization is getting a lot better. And what that does for this drone in particular is it makes this a little more durable out in the field. An internal gimbal would be nice, but it would be super ultra small in this size. So this makes it a little more durable and a little less likely to break in a bump or a crash, because motorized gimbals are actually pretty easy to break. And then you've got to send them back to the factory to get them repaired. But this has some pretty nice features on it. They've packed a bunch of stuff in here. The nicest thing about it, I think, is that they include 2 batteries, kind of like the Breeze 4K. You're going to get 15 minutes flight time off this battery. And I know you guys want to know the range. So the range is 100 meters horizontal and 50 meters vertical. And keep in mind, this is a selfie drone. We want to do those close-up personal shots and those quick vacation shots. It will do follow me mode, and I believe it does orbit. We'll get into the app a little bit later. It's smartphone controlled, so it works on iOS or Android. You download the XIRO Xplorer app. I'll show you the link to that a little bit later. But the props, right away, they're not folding props. I would like to see folding props in the next version, and I'll tell you about some of the things I like and don't like about it in this review so that you get something to take home with you after you watch this review. It does have, it feels like a Parrot rubber grommet stabilized body on here, so it gives a little bit of vibration dampening in between these motors and where the camera unit is on the very bottom of it. So that's going to give you a little more stable video than some of the other ones out there. They're just hard mounted straight to the frame, so there is some separation from the motors and the power system. That's very nice. There's a USB port on the back of it for firmware updates, and we have our power button in the front. We also have a fan for cooling the entire power system inside here, and the flight controller itself, so it doesn't overheat and have a system failure or a crash. That's very important. You have an ultrasonic sensor on here for vision dip positioning indoors, which is super nice because you can fly it indoors and it'll stay in one spot. You also have that ultrasonic sensor in here like we've seen on the Phantom 3 Pro and other drones out there by DJI. That seems to be bleeding over into a lot of different drones these days. Very nice vision positioning system. So let's go ahead now, let's look inside the box, and I'll show you a few more details, and then we'll go outside and we'll show you some flight footage and a flight test of this little Xplorer Mini. Okay guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the box real quick, and then we'll open it up and show you what's inside. Now, I like this box. It's really nice printing on it. It feels nice in your hands. It doesn't feel like a cheap piece of cardboard. And it has all the information, the basics on the outside of the box. It has your fold and go information back here, 450 gram takeoff weight with 1 battery on board, and folding arms, small size props, longer flight time at 15 minutes per battery, and we'll see about that later. We'll see how much it actually does. It'll probably be 12 to 15, 15 max. You also have your optical camera on here with 1080p, 13 megapixel stills. You have your GPS dual GLONASS, dual satellite positioning system, which is super nice. You have your indoor visual positioning system, which is your optical flow, and your ultrasonic sensor on the very bottom of the drone here. And we have motion control mode, And that is something that's going to be interesting. We're going to try that motion control mode. It means that we can control the drone from the motion of our phone with the gyroscope inside the iPhone or an Android style phone. And you have to make sure you have a gyro inside your phone before you try that mode. Also intelligent flight modes like one key return, simply return to home, one key takeoff and land. You also have low power battery protection. So if the battery gets critically low, it'll stop what it's doing and come back home and land, or it'll go down and land in place. Now you also have lost connection protection on here, which is super nice. If you become disconnected from your phone, the Wi-Fi signal fails, you can actually have it land or return to home as long as you have GPS on board. If it loses GPS, it's going to slowly land in spot or maintain a hover. So we'll show you the return to home functions when we go out and do the field test. Now let's go ahead and open this up, and you can also share with friends straight from the app. We do have a set of prop guards in here, and we have an extra set of props, which is always nice because I tend to break props. I'll go ahead and set this to the side. I'll show you one of these prop guards, how these are made. These are a little different than some of the other prop guards out there because you don't have to have any tools to put these on. This is pretty nice. So you just fold the arms out on your Mini, your Explorer Mini, and line this up with the direction of the arm like we have here. And there's a little slot just below the motor here. Go ahead and snap that in place, and that's all you do to get the prop guards on there. So you can take these on and off pretty quickly, and they feel pretty rigid, like they're not going to come off once they're snapped on. And when I want to remove it, I'm just going to pull it, and it snaps off again. I can put it back in this box, and I think I'll use this box to keep it in for right now for traveling. Now this front arm folds back first. They have to fold back in this order, and then the rear arm folds back after that. And I'll show you also, we have another manual here, a couple different manuals. And there is a PDF you can get online for the full manual on their website, on the Explorer website, the XIRO website. I'll show you that. This is the quick start guide that comes along with it, and you have a paper copy of the manual. It talks about safe battery charging, how to look at the battery levels. They also have sort of a smart battery checker on these batteries. So this one shows me that it has one LED. There's 4 LEDs on here. If you press that one, it shows me a full charge on this one. So this one's ready to go. The other I'm going to need to put on the charger, which is kind of nice. Some of the other selfie drones don't have that. So we'll go ahead and take this out. This is the power cable that came with mine. This is like a European Union style charge plug there. So I'm going to need a converter, and I have one sitting over here. I'll show you guys. This one is one you can get off Amazon, and this simply huge thing plugs into this just like that, and then I can plug it into the wall. But the charger itself is pretty small, it's pretty compact, and the batteries just snap right into the battery charger. Now there is a little button on the very back, so don't try to pull it out. Make sure you press that lever, and it has 2 little teeth on each side that will release the battery. And there's a little slot in the very back of the battery you can see here that those teeth snap into. So you can't plug it in backwards. It's not going to let you do that. So now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll turn it on, and we'll take a look at some of the modes in this XIRO, and we'll check out the app, and then we'll go fly. Okay, so I've got my battery charger plugged in, and there's a little red blinking light, a little LED indicator for the status of the battery charge up front here. And there's this quick release right here I was telling you guys about earlier. I'm gonna have 2 batteries here, and I can check those real quick by pressing that button to the left, top of the battery. And this one was already charged, so I'm gonna set that one down. Now this one only has 1 bar, so it needs to be on the charger. It's probably gonna take a little under an hour to charge this battery since it is pretty small, just a 1650. But pretty sweet that you get around 15 minutes flight time. So I'm gonna go ahead and line that up here and make sure this is right. These little tabs right here will go on the left hand side here. We'll match that up, and it should click and lock into place. Now when it starts charging, you're going to see this go solid red, and it'll turn green when it's finished. And when it's all finished, make sure you use this little lever in the back to release the battery, and release those 2 little locking pins there. But I'm going to go ahead and leave this one on charge. Okay, so before we fire up the app for the first time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the props off. And this drone is a little different than some of the other ones I've seen out there. Once you expand these arms out and you take these props off, there's no indication on the body, the frame itself, which way, or it doesn't have an icon on here to show you which props go on where on the body. You only have an arrow pointing which direction that this prop should rotate. So very important. Maybe you want to take a picture of this with your camera phone from the top, so you can tell which way the leading edge of the props turn. The leading edge of the prop is always going to be faced up in the direction that it's turning, and then the sharper edge, the trailing edge, is going to be facing downward, and that's going to create your lift. But what I do, and this is my system, so the camera is here in the very front of the drone, it's facing away from me, so I know that this right rear motor is always turning clockwise. Now this is for this particular drone. It's different on some other ones. So this is always a right turn. Directly across from that, diagonal across from that, is also a right turn motor. And this prop is a right turn prop, clockwise. Now the front right motor, the front right is a left turn. And diagonally across from that is also a left turn. And they have arrows on here that indicate that. But I'll show you something else too. I'll take this prop off, and there's a prop washer underneath this little motor bolt right there. Set that to the side. Just gently pop this prop off, and you can see that washer inside there. That's firmly holding this and locking this into place. There's little notches on the bottom of this bolt and notches on that little washer right there. And gently set that to the side so you don't lose that. Now looking at this motor stem, it's a really short stem, but it does have little notches on each side that line up with the bottom of the prop. So if I flip this prop over and show you, there's two little flat spots on the bottom of that prop. When you put props back on, you want to make sure that it locks into place and it's flush with the bottom of the motor stem there. Go ahead and put your screw back in. And I mean, I guess you could use a little drop of Loctite on these just to make sure that these bolts don't back out and fly off. Make sure you don't get any Loctite down inside the motor touching these copper coils in the motor, because that can cause a disruption in the motor. And now I'll go ahead and remove these and we'll talk about the app. Now go ahead and grab your user manual, and this is how you're going to find the app. They have a little QR code up in the front right here, and we're going to scan that with a QR reader on your phone, and it should take you straight to the App Store link. Let this load up. I'll go over top of this little QR code, and it'll take me straight to the App Store. It's called XIRO Xplorer, and I'll go ahead and click Get, Install, and I'll let that install. And remember, when this powers up, it's going to emit a Wi-Fi signal, so you're going to connect to it just like you're connecting to a phone, to a Wi-Fi spot with your phone in a cafe or somewhere, or at home, and you're going to enter in the password 01234. So now the app's installed. We'll go ahead and we'll open that up. So this is what you're going to see when you first open up the app. It says XIRO Xplorer. It looks like it's kind of like the opening screen for the larger style drone. It should see that we're using the Mini when we load this up for the first time. Discover your sky, share your aerial creations. Click to fly now. So it does give us a few different choices in here. We have the Xplorer Mini here on the screen. We can scroll over to the regular Explorer, the original Explorer, and the gimbal, handheld gimbal. So go back to Explorer Mini, click on that, and it wants to use my location. Sure, you can do that. And it would like to access my photos. Yeah, we can do that. So here it's giving us little titles on each icon around the screen here, telling us what each of the different functions do. You can click off of that and go back to the app after you've finished looking at that. Now we're disconnected right now, so we'll go ahead and we'll pop the top and we'll put in our first battery. And I've got the props off. There's a little tab side to side here. It's nice because you got a little magnet right here as well that holds it in place. And I got this battery here. I'm going to make sure I have a full charge. And this is the way you put these batteries in. There's two little teeth that insert into the battery here for positive and negative, and your balance leads there. So we'll go ahead and push that forward. Should hear it lock into place once I get it right, lined up correctly. Okay, and now it's in place. There's a little tab here you push to get it off. So it pushes the battery back, and then you can take the battery out. So I'll go ahead and I'll put it back in. I didn't hear it click, but I'm going to assume that it's in there. Okay, now I'm going to put the top back on. Now I'm going to go to my Wi-Fi. So we're going to go out. I'm going to go to settings on my iPhone. I'm going to go to Wi-Fi here. And I'm going to find the XIRO network. Once I turn it on, press this power button and hold it. And set the drone flat on a flat surface. You can hear that fan inside the drone. And now I'll wait just a minute and the XIRO network should pop up. So now I see XIRO Mini on my phone. I can go ahead and click that, and now I can put in the password, which is XIRO 1234. 1234. I did all capitals, by the way. You can't really see it because it's all dots. And now it's going to take one moment to connect. And we should be connected now. You can see it has LEDs front and rear. Pretty cool LEDs on here, actually. I'll set this down. I'll go into the app. We'll go back over to XIRO app, and we should have camera now. Yes, we do. That's pretty awesome. Now we're going to see how well this performs, if there's any kind of lag in front of it. Seems to be pretty good. Some of these other selfie drones, I've seen quite a bit of lag. There seems to be a little tiny bit of delay, but not much. It's not jumping from one side of the screen to the other. So now I'm indoors, and you can change modes in here to fly it indoors, or you can fly it outdoors. And you have auto takeoff here. You have your satellite count up here. We have battery percentage here, 96%. I have my distance meters from home. And I have different modes here on the right that says follow me mode, shoot mode, and follow snap mode. Seems pretty cool. We can also flip it to photo or video mode there by pressing that button. And there's some type of album icon there, which it looks like a little mountain. If you click this little mountain with a little sunset there, you should see all your pictures and movies stored in here. So then you can share or download them straight to your iOS device or Android device. Now we have takeoff button down here and start. So start would be to start the motors. You want to do your pre-flight checklist for sure. Is it safe to arm the motors? Yes, because we took the props off. We'll say okay. And now the motors are running. And you'll hear the accelerometer working to keep itself level. Okay, and I'll set it back down. And I'll push stop, and that'll stop the motors. You also can do auto takeoff. You have IOC, intelligent orientation control here. You also have return to home and shut down. So if we want to turn the drone off, we can do that. I'll tell you what, you guys, I'm ready and I'm excited to fly this. So let's go ahead now, and I'll take you outside and we'll do some flying. I'll show you more of these modes actually out in the field. This looks like a lot of fun. Now, one last bit of advice before you go out and fly yours for the first time, and this is for the new guys with this Xplorer Mini. Go into this little settings over here on the left hand side of the screen. You're going to see operation settings, cam setting, display settings, and an exit button there. That'll exit the app if you press that, but go ahead and go into the operation settings. This is pretty important because when it comes from the factory, it's going to be set to motion control mode, and that means you're going to be controlling it by pressing the right half of the screen. Motion control is started automatically. So motion control is changing the angle of the mobile phone using your gyro inside your mobile phone. So I don't want to fly it like that because I feel like that's kind of confusing for me. I like the sticks feel for flying. If you want to fly it in motion, that's fine, but I think it should come set in free control mode, and that has display sticks on the screen for you, and you can move your throttle. It's going to be on the left, and your roll and pitch are going to be on the right. Your yaw will be on the left with the throttle control. So be careful when you're throttling up that you don't turn your copter too fast. If you scroll down to the bottom here, and by the way, safe control mode is just going to make it a little more docile when you first fly it. I won't have quite as much angle of attack and be super fast. Now, control stick sensitivity, I can change that to super fast, medium, or safe. I'm going to go ahead and put that on medium for now. I don't want it to fly too slow during my demo. Image stabilization, I want image stabilization on for my 1080p because I want to show you guys that. Calibrate the compass is also down here, and you can reset your home point if you ever want to do that, and you land and you do a new takeoff. You also have location. If you have GPS still on board and you lost your drone, you can use this to go into the maps and find your Xplorer Mini. That's also super cool. Now I'm in mode 2 here. That means throttle is going to be on the left and my roll and pitch are going to be on the right. And our channel selection, you don't have to worry about that. Now we're out of that. Let's go back to that real quick and check the camera settings. We're going to do preview resolution at 720p. That's pretty nice. Movie resolution will be 1920 by 1080p at 30 frames per second. That's good. I'm going to stay with that. Now the image size for stills is 4208 by 3120, and the photo mode, I want to be in single shot mode. You can also do continuous mode and a timer mode, which is cool for selfie. You can go into even more detailed and change some of the continuous modes, your auto white balance. You can also clear your files. And it does appear that we can change the angle of the camera inside the app. So the camera angle is changeable, and that's really, really nice feature. Now display settings, you have quite a few different icons in here. What flight mode you're going to be in, you can put that on the screen up here. If you click these icons, it tells you how much storage space you have left. You can also add speed up here and your altitude. So I'm going to go ahead and add as much information on screen as I can for my first flight. I'll go ahead and take off the SD storage remaining. I don't want to put my altitude there because I like to have that on the screen. So now I'm going to stay in shoot mode, and I'm going to fly in this particular mode here that I have it set to in the operation settings in free control mode. So let's go ahead, let's go out to the field and do some flying. Alright guys, welcome to the field. Let's go ahead and get this little XIRO Xplorer Mini up in the air and show you what it can do. I'm going to go ahead, set this down. I'm going to turn it on first. Hold this power button for 1 to 2 seconds. You'll hear that fan start to spool up. You always want to check your environment, right, left, make sure no one's around too close to you, so you're not going to fly over top of them, dogs, animals, whatnot. So we'll go ahead and we'll look for the Wi-Fi signal on my phone, and it should connect automatically now because I've already done it in the studio. So the one I'm looking for is Xplorer Mini. You click on that, and the password is all capitals XIRO123, XIRO1234, and that should let us in. I've already entered that. So now I can go over to my app, XIRO Xplorer. Now I can see my live camera view right here. Right, already I've got 13 satellites, 14. And I'm going to go into my mode in my operation settings and make sure that I have free control mode set here. I didn't like the motion control mode. Don't try to do that one in the house, by the way. It was a little tricky for me to use the camera tilt controller. Now I've got flashing lights in the very back, green here and red up front. And I have 14 satellites now. So I'm going to scroll down here. I want my control stick sensitivity set to fast, so it'll fly the fastest for me. I want to turn on image stabilization. Now it does something strange in here. It does you'll see a black square run into the screen a little bit if you tilt too far. That's the onboard image stabilization doing that. So I'm going to turn that on. We could calibrate the compass, but you've seen that in my other videos. You just rotate it in a horizontal circle, and then you point the camera down at the ground and rotate it again a few more times until it tells you that you're good to go. I've already calibrated it here today because I did get another flight in before this video, so we're good to go there. I also have a location, so you can have the last known available GPS information will show up here, and you can click find it if you need to do that. That's pretty cool. I am flying in mode 2 today, so now that I should have pretty good GPS lock. I've got 16 sats on here, so I should be good to go. And I've also got camera tilt here on the left of the screen, and I can start my video here if I want to. I can also go in here and preview my other pictures and videos that I did, and my movies in here. And you have a preview option to view it inside the app, which is pretty cool. I've got 98% battery. GPS looks good over here. I'm all at zeros on our position from home and how fast we're moving. I got the speed on there. Over here on the right, it shows you a little kind of a red, yellow, and green bars on the side. This is your battery level. So as this goes down, you'll get into the yellow and red here if you're getting low on your battery. I would always tend to land when it gets near the yellow, so you save your battery, give it a little more longevity, and it'll last you longer if you don't fly it into the red. That's always good advice for new pilots. So now I've got 14 satellites. I can go ahead and take off now, and you're going to push start on the bottom here to start these motors. Go ahead and step back. Want to look right and left again. Make sure that no one's near you. I'm going to go ahead and start recording the video. I'll start the motors. It's asking me if I did my pre-flight check, and then we did that. Now we're going to go ahead and push takeoff here, and it'll do an auto takeoff. It should come up to about 2 meters. And we'll just let it sit there for a second. We'll see how it does. I'm in the shoot mode, and you can see there's a little black bar. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a little black bar at the very top. When I put that video on my computer, I'll probably crop that top part off. Now, if you touch the screen just momentarily, you'll see these two control options pop up. It started drifting towards me for a little bit, so I'm in that free flight mode, and I pushed it to go forward. The right stick is pitch. It's also roll. It's gonna go right and left. The left stick is gonna push you up. You press it up. And if you stop, it'll maintain its hover. So the cool thing about GPS and altitude hold is that it's doing its job, both GPS lock and altitude hold. Now, if I want to spin it around and shoot some video of myself, I can do that by using the yaw axis on the left-hand side. Then I can spin it back around. You can look at the field out there. And I'm in free flight mode right now. I'm not in any kind of particular follow me modes or anything like that. So I'll just go ahead and go forward here. And I'll go up in altitude just a little bit, just in case there's dogs. There is a dog park over there, the other side of the soccer field. Now, if it becomes disconnected at any point, let it sit there for a moment. If your screen freezes up, a little bit of word of advice, walk toward the drone a little bit and try to get your screen back. If that doesn't work, what you can do is go into the settings here and go to your cam setting. It wants me to stop recording there, so I'll stop recording for a moment. Go to the cam setting, and then I'm going to choose my preview resolution. I'll go to 640, and you can change that on the fly, and you'll have a little better image coming back to your video monitor. So if it's choppy at all, you can break that resolution down, so it'll actually work a little better. So let's go ahead, start recording again. Okay, I'm going to turn around facing myself. Gonna come back. Here we come back toward the home point. Now it's successfully passed the hover test. This is really nice. You can see those yellow props in the front for orientation. Really easy to see what the front of the aircraft is, especially with those green LEDs in the back. And I'm going to come around to my right again. I'm just going to do a speed test real quick. We're going to tell you what the meters per second are on the speed. Looks like 2.8. We're at 3. I'm going to come up and turn around a little bit here. It's really easy to fly. I'm just holding that forward button right there. As far forward as it'll go. Let's see if we can go a little faster here. Oh, we go. There we go. Now I'm full tilt, and that's 5.1 meters per second. Look at that really fast turn. Now it's moving. I wasn't all the way down there. So I'll come back around here. It has a really tight turn with fast mode on. Be careful not to hit yourself. It doesn't have any object avoidance on here by any means. So I'm still recording about 1 minute 30 seconds there. I'll bring it back over here a little bit. And I should get close to 15 minutes out of this battery. So if you've seen the other video on my channel for the Breeze 4K, the Breeze 4K gets about 10 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes roughly per battery. But that one also comes with 2 batteries, which is super cool. 2 batteries in an RTF drone is usually what we like. I'm not going to go up too high, but I'm just going to kind of cruise here. Cruise a little bit. Just cruising around the field. No one out here today, so it's nice. It's a little overcast and cold, so it's the day after Christmas, and everyone's just still home and enjoying their presents and family, I guess. Okay, now I'm going to come in a little closer. Now I want to show you something over here near the home plate. This is kind of neat. This is this optical flow on the bottom of it. If I fly over here and I come down, X marks the spot right there on the landing pad. When I get close to the ground, optical flow takes over, and you notice I'm pushing down full stick right here, and it's not going anywhere. It's not going down at all. It's just staying in one spot because it actually sees the ground below it. The only way I can get it to land is to actually push the land button, and it'll go down and land. But I'm not ready to land yet, so I'm going to take back off. I just wanted to show you that optical flow on the bottom of there. That's really cool. So you do have some other flight modes in here. You can do safe control mode, which is very, very minimal movements. And that's gonna allow like a new person to fly it that's never flown before, that doesn't want to fly off into the trees. And I'm in free control mode, and I'm in the stick sensitivity fast setting, so that's going to be quite a bit faster meters per second. So I'll go to medium, and I'll show you what I can get in medium. I'll come down a little bit, and I'll point it over there on the other side of the field, make sure nobody's coming, and I'll show you what the meters per second for that one are going to be. I'll give it full tilt here. Looks like 4 meters, 4.2. Almost as fast as what we had on the fast setting. I'm just flying back over here a little bit. Really does turn super fast. I feel like it's pretty locked in, especially since it has the GLONASS dual GPS on here. Helps a lot. Flies really, really stable. Feels really locked in. It almost feels like a little mini racer drone or something, because it really is fast and nimble, but also really precise. I've flown quite a few of these selfie drones, and I've honestly, I haven't felt real comfortable flying some of these off of my phone because I feel like I don't have enough control. And with this one, I feel like I have really good control with my thumbs, even though it's like 40 degrees outside and it's freezing. Pretty cold out. So I'll come over here a little closer. come up just a little bit. And I'm going to press stop on the video record there. I'm going to go into the operation settings. I'm going to try out that motion control while I have you guys here in the video. So I can raise up. I might not be able to switch out of that mode. Now, one other thing is I want to let you guys know that if you get in trouble and it looks like it's flying into a tree, there is a button down at the bottom here that says hover. And what hover is going to do is, if you're drifting or tilting anywhere, it's out of control, press hover and it'll stop what it's doing and hover just like that. So I'm in safe mode right now, and look how slow it is. Looks like it doesn't even want to just about come out of a hover. So I can go up, I can go down, but it doesn't look like the right stick is affecting anything. I'll try to tilt it. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. Now I also have other modes in here. I want to show you those real quick before I run out of battery. I've got return to home, intelligent orientation control, which is headless mode. So let me get out of that safe mode or motion mode control. Let's go back into free mode, and I'm going to try out the IOC. Now IOC is enabled, and what IOC is, like I said, it's headless mode. So no matter which way I press the stick on the right, it should always orientate itself. Left is always going to be left, and right is always going to be right, no matter which way the drone is facing. So if I pull back, if I'm way out there flying and I'm twisted around and I can't figure out which way is back, and I don't want to press return to home, I can just pull back on the stick and watch this, even rotate it on the way home. It doesn't matter which way it's facing, it's still going to come back to you. And if you push away, no matter which way it's facing, away is always going to be away. And now right, left, and back and forward. And that's pretty cool. It's compensating for all those different axes, and you can still get back to home. So we'll go to, we don't want to do shutdown. We could try a return to home real quick and see how close it comes. So I just pressed turn to home, and the red lights went red on the whole bottom. And it looks like it's coming back, and it's going to land decently close. Now I'm going to press hover and stop so it doesn't land in the mud. So if you want to stop and return to home at any point, you can. That's pretty cool. Now the back lights are flashing. Let's check to see. I'm still in IOC, so if I can turn IOC off, the back lights start flashing slower instead of fast. Now also, I'm going to show you follow me mode, and right now I'm in selfie mode, so it spun itself around so I can take a snapshot if I want to. I'll take a quick snapshot. And follow snap is also where you can draw a rectangular circle around you, and it will actually follow you in that. If you click follow here, it wants me to descend. So I'll come down, put it in hover mode, and now I'll go back to shoot mode. So it wants it to be closer to the ground, about 3.5 meters to do follow selfie mode. Now I'll come a little closer here, and I'll switch back into follow snap. And I can draw a rectangle or a circle, rectangle around me. Not a circle. Okay, now I can start walking and snapping photos. So it's following me now, kind of a lot like the Phantom 4 does with that active track. So it's a very similar feature to that for a lot less price. That's pretty neat. So now I'm at about 30% battery. It's going to make me come back and land probably around 15% critical. Low power level. So now it's going into return to home. And before we end this video, you guys, I will definitely show you some follow footage that I recorded earlier. But so far so good. I'm going to put it back into a hover right here because I don't want it to land just yet. Now don't try this at home, but you can do this if you're an adult. But I'm not responsible for your actions for sure. It will cut the motors when it comes down to a flat and level surface, even if it's your hand, because of the optical flow on the very bottom. You can hear it kind of buzzing in there. That's pretty cool. So this one, on return to home, actually stops the motors and kills the motors completely. One of our last reviews we did on the hub stand, it was the 109S, H109S. That one came down and it came to a slow idle, and I had to actually kill the motors with the sticks down and out to the sides. But this one does it itself. That's pretty cool. Definitely a neat drone. I'm gonna say for my final thoughts about this one, if you're looking for something that's kind of easy to fly and super portable, this is XIRO Xplorer Mini is really a hot selfie drone and a lot of fun. So now I'm going to go back to the studio. I'm going to do some editing and see how some of that stabilized footage came out, and I'll make sure to put that in the lower corner so you guys can see some of that footage. That was a lot of fun. So when you're done with this battery and you want to pop out, put a new battery in there, you can just, where it says open on the side, stick your fingernail in there and just pop this top off. Pretty easy. But like I said, I feel like it was super easy to fly. The battery lasted a pretty decent amount of time, and I had fun with it. The app was pretty intuitive, and it doesn't seem to have a ton of lag. But when I did get out there quite a ways, maybe a football field or more, the video did start to get choppy, so I had to restart the camera inside the app here, how I showed you guys how to do that earlier. But I did have a really good satellite connection on here too. 18 satellites right now as I'm holding it and standing here. That's phenomenal for a little selfie drone, little portable selfie drone. Super awesome. This has been a lot of fun, you guys. I like this one. So this one's staying in my fleet, you guys. I would recommend it for sure. Thanks again for hanging out on my channel, you guys. And this has been the XIRO Xplorer Mini. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.